This is not just a story. It is a true life confession, one that I never imagined would happen to me. If someone had told me that the man I trusted most in my spiritual life would one day betray me in a way that still haunts me, I would have called them a liar. But today, as I speak, my heart bleeds because I regret the day I introduced my daughter. My name is Grace, a widow from a small town in Nigeria. Life was never kind after my husband's sudden death. I had to raise my only daughter, Amara, alone. She was my light, my hope, my reason for living. She excelled in her studies, she was obedient, and above all, she loved God. But the world around us was tough. I worked day and night at the market, selling palm oil and vegetables. Still, sometimes, we went to bed hungry. One Sunday morning, after service, I was in tears, praying silently at the back of the church. That was when Pastor Elijah walked to me, placed his hand on my shoulder, and said, "Daughter of Zion, God has seen your tears. He will use me to wipe them away." Those words touched me deeply. From then on, Pastor Elijah became more than just a spiritual leader, he became a pillar of support. He prayed for me, gave me small amounts of money when I was stranded, and often reminded me that God never abandons his children. I believed him with all my heart. One day, after service, Pastor Elijah asked, "Sister Grace, is this your daughter?" I smiled proudly, "Yes, sir. This is Amara." He looked at her for a long moment, then smiled warmly. "She has a great destiny. Bring her closer to God, and her star will shine." From that day, Pastor Elijah took a special interest in Amara. He asked her to join the youth choir, encouraged her education, and even gave her free lessons at the church library. I was overjoyed. Finally, someone cared about my daughter's future as much as I did. But little did I know, I was opening the door to something that would tear my world. Months passed, and I noticed changes in Amara. She became quieter, distant. When I asked her what was wrong, she would force a smile and say, "Nothing, Mama. I'm fine." But a mother always knows when her child is hiding something. One night, while she was asleep, I saw her phone buzzing with messages. I picked it up, only to freeze. The sender was Pastor Elijah. And the words on the screen made my hands tremble. "Don't forget our secret prayer tonight. God will bless you for obeying." Secret prayer. At night, my heart pounded. I wanted to scream, but I swallowed my fear. Instead, I decided to keep quiet and observe. The next evening, I pretended to be asleep. At exactly 10 p.m., I heard the back door creak. My daughter was sneaking out. I followed her silently, my chest tightening with each step. She walked through the dark streets until she reached the church. And there, standing by the door, waiting, was Pastor Elijah. I hid behind a mango tree, tears streaming down my face as I watched them enter the church. For over an hour, I stood there, trembling, until I couldn't bear it anymore. I ran home, fell on the floor, and cried bitterly. The man I trusted with my soul. The man I respected as a servant of God. He had lured my daughter into something I couldn't yet understand. But I was determined to find out. The following day, I confronted Amara. "Where did you go last night?" I asked, my voice shaking. She froze. "Mama, it's nothing. Pastor was just praying for me." I grabbed her shoulders. At midnight. In the church. Alone. Tears welled in her eyes. She fell to the ground, sobbing. "Mama, please don't hate me. Pastor said if I don't obey him, God will punish us. He said I must trust him, that these special prayers are for my destiny." My blood ran cold. I pulled her into my arms, crying uncontrollably. How could this man twist the name of God to deceive my innocent daughter? For days, I wrestled with myself. Should I confront him directly? Should I tell the church elders? What if no one believed me? Pastor Elijah was loved and respected by everyone. But my silence could destroy Amara's life. One Sunday morning, after service, Pastor Elijah called us to the altar. He placed his hand on Amara's head and said loudly, "This young girl carries greatness. The church must pray for her always." Everyone clapped. They had no idea of the darkness behind his words. That night, I packed our belongings. I decided we would leave the town. But fate had another plan. Before dawn, as I prepared our bags, a knock came on the door. It was one of the church elders, an elderly woman named Mama Esther. She looked at me with pity in her eyes and whispered, "Grace, I know what you're going through. You are not alone. Pastor Elijah has done this before." I froze. She continued, "Several families left the church in silence, out of fear. But it is time to expose him. Will you stand with us?" My hands shook, but I nodded. Together with Mama Esther and a few courageous members, we reported the matter to higher church authorities. Evidence was gathered. Amara finally found the courage to speak her truth. And on one unforgettable Sunday, in front of the whole congregation, Pastor Elijah was confronted. He denied. He shouted. He even called down curses. But when Amara, with tears in her eyes, stood before the people and told her story, the church fell silent. The truth was out. Pastor Elijah was removed from his position. The church was shaken, but the truth set us free. Amara struggled with shame for months, but with love, counseling, and God's healing hand, she slowly regained her joy. As for me, I learned a bitter but powerful lesson. Never place blind trust in man, even if he carries the title of pastor. Test every spirit, for not all who wear the cloak of righteousness are truly servants of God. Today, I share my story not because it is easy, but because silence destroys more lives than it saves. If you are a parent, guard your children closely. If you are a child, know that true men of God will never manipulate you in secret. And if you are hurt, know this: healing is possible. This was my pain. This was my confession. I regret introducing my daughter to my pastor, but I thank God for giving us the strength to rise again. Backhand index pointing right. If this story touched your heart, don't just stop here. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more powerful true life stories. Because sometimes, the stories we share can save a soul.